Hello, Wonderhussy here, driving through the desert on an amazingly overcast monsoon day. That's right, today's August 2nd, I think. And well, normally the desert is blazing hot this time of year, unbearably hot. But then every now and then, these crazy monsoonal thunderstorms roll in, and the entire environment changes drastically. Okay, if you've ever been to the desert, you know how unbearably baking, blazing hot it is in the summertime. And so this blanket of overcast is so welcome. I mean, to the point where it's actually very comfortable outside right now. I think it's probably only about 84 degrees. It feels amazing. There's moisture in the air. It smells incredible. And that's because all these little desert plants that are normally totally dry and desiccated, well, they start sucking in this moisture from the air and putting off their own very delicate scent, which I think is one of the best smells around. Okay, apologies if the audio is kind of wonky, because it is very windy because this thunderstorm is blowing in. I'm driving down the highway, headed to one of my favorite hot springs to spend a few days just relaxing, and it's the perfect weather to be driving to. I have this hypnotic music playing. I'm just cruising down this lonely desert highway, but I had to pull over because I passed this exceptionally beautiful area. Okay, this is a part of the desert that for whatever reason I don't pass through very often. In fact, I think this is only the second time I've driven through here. But look at how amazing these cliff formations are. I mean, unbelievable. The sign here says it's called Red Cliffs, and apparently there's this Red Cliffs nature trail you can take. Although look, they have the sign up warning you that extreme heat is possible and daytime hiking is not advised. Okay, it says you should hike in the morning or the late evening, not at high noon, which, believe it or not, is what it is right now. But like I said, this monsoon blew in. It's very pleasant. I feel like this would be the perfect time to do this nature trail. Even though I probably should get on the road where I'm going. It doesn't look like it's that long of a trail. I think it goes back into these amazing cliff formations. But before I take the trail, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Look at how unbelievable this erosion is. I think it's just from water coming down, monsoon storms like this, it's gonna rain again any minute, and water is gonna come cascading down from the top of that bluff, and I guess run down in channels through these almost cathedral looking shapes. Anyway, I'm just gonna keep hiking up this little trail right directly into the wind, which, oh my God, it feels so good. If you've never been out in the desert when it's raining, especially in the summertime, it's hard to explain it. I mean, that smell I was talking about earlier, I mean, there's a plant called a creosote bush that grows in the Mojave desert. I don't actually see any of it here, but it has, in my opinion, the best smell possibly on earth when it's wet. And all these little desert plants, it's such a big deal when it rains out here. Mojave Desert sees very little rainfall, and so when it does rain, all these little plants and all the animals and critters, they get so excited. It's life-giving. It's like a celebration. Okay, now I probably sound like a big old hippie, but it really is like Christmas or something. I mean, the colors, I feel like even the colors look more dramatic with that amazing cloudy gray sky behind them. Everything in the desert is so subtle, and that's one of the things I like about it. A lot of people go, oh, the desert, how can you like it so much? It's so ugly and boring, there's no colors. Well, there's a ton of colors out here. They're just very subtle, and you have to look for them. Like in this rock face alone, you see there's that dark red up at the top, and then there's kind of like a coral pink, and there's like a beige and a bone white, and then when you get down to the bottom, it's sort of blends all together. And the same thing with all these grasses and plants. I mean, yes, there is a lot of brown, but there's also a lot of sage green and kind of different shades of yellow and gold and even some brighter greens and even some little flowers. Look at that. In the middle of summer, this bush, I guess that's the time of year this little bush blooms. Gets these, I'm going to try to zoom in on one of them, these little tiny, beautiful yellow flowers. Look at that. Isn't that incredible? And a very, very delicate scent. As delicate as the color palette. Everything out here is harsh and rugged and extreme, but it also has this interesting delicacy to it. I love contrast like that. You know, this harsh, manly, rugged environment where you might see John Wayne riding on a bluff killing a bunch of Indians, and then these delicate, tiny little flowers and these very delicate scents wafting through the air. Oh, it's just a great friggin' time to be alive. Okay, now that I've thoroughly bored everyone with my hippy-dippy ramblings, I guess this trail doesn't actually wind back up into these formations. It goes up here to the top of this hill, which I think might afford us an amazing view of the entire area around us. Let's go check it out. Wow, look at this. It's like this whole secret hidden valley surrounded by these incredibly colored rock formations, and then like this hidden Joshua tree forest down here. Look at all the Joshua trees. Man, these things are absolutely amazing, and there's a whole bunch of them down here. One of the most bizarre features of the Mojave Desert. It's not actually a tree, it's actually a yucca plant, and that's actually the botanical name is Yucca brevifolia. But to the early Mormon settlers, the first white people who came through this area, well, they didn't know anything about yucca, or let alone Yucca brevifolia. To them, these trees looked like, I guess, the prophet Joshua holding his arms up, and so they called them Joshua trees. Oh, and look, here's a creosote bush like I was talking about. This is the guy that smells really good when it rains. Smell it. Oh, man, I wish this was smell-o-vision. I wish this was feel-o-vision. If you guys could be out here feeling this amazing cool breeze and smelling that Joshua or that creosote scent and seeing these incredible formations, oh, it'd be enough to put everybody into a good mood. Assuming a little wind doesn't bother you. Look at that, there's even a bench you can sit on here and contemplate that entire, it's like a secret hidden valley. I mean, you can just see, or at least I can see, you know, a lone cowboy loping along through this valley, and say it was getting towards twilight and he was looking for a place to lay down for the night. And so he would just lay out his bedroll or his saddle blanket and use his saddle as a pillow, and he'd probably tie his horse up to a Joshua tree and spend the most amazing night. If it wasn't overcast, woo, the stars would be incredible. Yikes. Hang on to your hats, everyone. The wind is intense, especially up here on this ridge. I don't know, I guess I don't need to do this whole trail since I am headed somewhere particular, but I wanted to come up here because it's such an amazing overview of this entire area. And the most amazing thing of all is it's right at the side of the highway. I don't know if you can see that, but there's cars and trucks just blazing past this incredible natural beauty. And I didn't want to be one of those cars that just blazes past. I wanted to get off and take a look and just see what's going on over here. I mean, look how many colors are up in the mountains on this side. You see red, orange, brown, gold, green. Absolutely stupendous for a view off the friggin' highway. I mean, look at the view on the other side, for that matter. These formations are absolutely gorgeous. I think this area is called Red Rock Canyon. And because we're not that far from Los Angeles, my understanding is they used to film, or maybe still do film, a lot of movies and TV shows out here. You know, when they need a stand-in for Mars, the Red Planet, or back in the day when they were doing the Westerns. You know, they probably filmed a lot of Westerns out here. I'm not exactly sure which movies in particular they filmed out here, and I don't have cell signal, like I said, to look it up. But yeah, Red Rock Canyon, y'all. Check it out. I need to come back here and spend more time. I'd love to camp out here. I mean, you're not allowed to camp out here at this particular day use area, but I think on the other side of the highway, there's all kinds of little trails you can take. And that is something I definitely want to do when the weather cools down, maybe this fall. Okay, well, I guess I might as well just finish taking this trail. Why not do the whole loop? I mean, it's not like the hot spring is going anywhere, although now that I think about it, it is a Friday, and if I don't get there well before dark, I might have a hard time finding a campsite. I guess I better pick up the pace. Okay, even though I'm in a hurry to get to these hot springs, there's one more place I want to stop and check out along the way. Okay, I'm here at the next thing I wanted to check out, and it's just as beautiful here as it was at the last place. In fact, maybe even more so, because we've driven into the storm. Look at that, you can see that monsoon, that big, nasty, dark summer monsoon moving into the desert, sprinkling its goodness over all the little plants. It's funny because most places a rainy day is a bummer, but here in the desert it's sunny every dang day. So for me, a nice overcast rainy day like this is really something special. In fact, as I was driving along, I couldn't stop singing to myself, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, feeling gloomy. You know, like the Simon and Garfunkel song, Feeling Groovy. Well, out here I changed the lyrics because this is such an amazing gloomy day. Anyway, believe it or not, the monsoon itself is not what I pulled over to look at. I pulled over to check out this. Okay, you know how at the last stop we were looking at all those beautiful Joshua trees? Well, here's another Joshua tree. It's just a little bit different from the ones we were looking at before, because if you'll take a closer look, you'll notice it's made out of horseshoes. Look at that, some artist took a whole bunch of horseshoes and welded them together, I guess, to make this Joshua tree. Now, obviously the spikes on the end aren't horseshoes, those are just some kind of deadly metal spikes, but most of it is made out of old horseshoes, and I guess these are presumably actual horseshoes. I don't know. I've never shoed a horse. It's about the size of my hand. Would that be the size of a horseshoe or a mule shoe? You know, lots of mules were used out here in this part of the desert over the years, especially back during the mining days. So I don't know, these could be old mule shoes from all the mules that used to work out here. Oh, and then look down here at the base of it, there's a little box that says J.P. Gorman. Oh, and I guess people just kind of put stuff in it. Somebody left some lipstick. Somebody left a dollar bill. Somebody left a whistle. That's cool. What's this? There's a love letter. Could this be a letter from my long-lost boyfriend? A poem by Chong Hyun Jong. This is currently my favorite poem. I believe it captures the manner of traveling and ups and downs of life. I wish to do better for that delicate heart that comes my way. I hope you enjoyed. Savannah Moore, on a trip with her grandpa Dave Moore, headed to Boron. Oh my God, I love Boron. Well, where's the poem? Golly, I'm not sure. Maybe what she wrote was the poem, and then there's a few people just wrote their names in here. And then there's this really cool, I guess you'd call that a mandala. Oh, here's the poem. Hold on. Sorry, it's real windy. It's called The Visitor. The coming of a person is, in fret, a tremendous feat. Because he comes with his past and present, and with his future. Because a person's whole life comes with him. Since it is so easily broken, the heart that comes, it would have been broken before. A heart whose layers the wind will likely be able to trace. If my heart could mimic that wind, it can become a hospitable place. Losing my hat again. Okay, wow, I'm not really sure what to make of that poem, but I'm just gonna put it back in the box. Okay, let me just close this box and then get out of the way, because guess what? This random guy showed up, and he says he is John Gorman, the guy who built this tree. Is that you?
It is. I have a metal shop in town.
In what town?
Crest.
Oh, wow!
12 miles away.
So you have a metal shop in town, and you just decided to make this Joshua tree?
I do large-scale art mostly. I like to use used horseshoes or rebar or sewer pipe.
So these are horseshoes, not mule shoes?
No, they're mostly all horseshoes.
Oh, okay.
Mule shoes are a bit smaller.
Oh, okay.
And you are who and from where?
My name is Sarah, but I go by Wonderhussy. I live in Tacopa. Do you know where that is?
No.
It's on the other side of Death Valley. Do you know where Shoshone is, by chance?
Uh-huh.
It's right by Shoshone. It's a hot spring.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so it's about 90 miles outside Las Vegas, middle of nowhere. But I'm just traveling around making videos for my YouTube channel.
I think YouTube channels are wonderful.
Oh, good. I'm glad you feel that way. Hey, listen, I'm glad we ran into you, man. Thank you.
Chat with me. I've been in Ridgecrest forever.
Forever?
Over 50 years, and that constitutes it forever.
Oh my gosh, you've been in Ridgecrest for 50 years.
And it turns out I'm on the city council at Ridgecrest. So
I didn't realize I was talking to a politician. Better watch what I
God.
say.
The Ridgecrest area became famous a few years ago when we had a couple of massive earthquakes.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
7.1. And my shop was just scrambled. And the Navy base, there's a Navy base out here.
Oh sure, China Lake.
China Lake. I put in a whole career there.
Oh.
The Navy base really got broken. And the Pentagon loves this Navy base, so they sent over billions of dollars to get it fixed.
Oh good.
Which is what they're doing now, and they're almost done.
Oh good.
Oh, it's something. I get ribbon cutting and...
Oh, how fancy. Now why are you out here today? You just wanted to take a picture of your art?
This is why I'm offering you this background. There's a lady who's in charge of putting in the last artistic touches on the new buildings and new atriums and new entries.
Oh, nice.
And she wants stuff like this, and she heard that I do it.
Oh.
And she called me recently and said, could you take pictures of all the big stuff you've done?
Oh, so you might get a big fat government contract to do art?
I know, but we're never saying that on camera.
Oh, okay, no.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
That's just speculation.
It's something all artists aspire to.
Wow, how cool is that? How lucky were we to be here right when the artist himself showed up? Oh, you think everything happens for a reason?
Why is it the Cosmos have lined up events so that you and I end up chatting here now?
I don't know.
We'll have to dope it out, maybe.
Yeah.
They never tell you.
Well, listen, I was just chatting with Skip, he goes by Skip, and he used to have a local radio show in Ridgecrest, and he did a competition. When he built this, I think this is so interesting. When he built this Joshua tree sculpture, he actually based it on a real Joshua tree, okay? There's a Joshua tree somewhere out here in the desert that looks exactly like this, and he used it as his model, okay? And he drove a little stake, a metal stake, into the base of that Joshua tree with a 6-digit number on it. And he told all his listeners on his radio show, if any of them could go out into the desert and find that Joshua tree that looks just like this, and then read him back the 6-digit numbers from the metal stake, they would win $1,000. How about that? It's better than the Fen treasure. Now, unfortunately, this Joshua tree that was the model for this horseshoe Joshua tree is somewhere within a 60-mile radius of Ridgecrest, and that's a lot of ground, and there's a lot of Joshua trees out there, but he said no one has found it yet. So if you're watching this video, take a close look at this horseshoe Joshua tree. And if you can find its live replica somewhere in the Mojave Desert within 60 miles of Ridgecrest, and you can read the 6-digit number on the metal spike at the base of it and get a hold of Skip, you'll win $1,000. Okay, I'm just gonna focus on the tree again so we all get a good look at it. Boy, that's a tough one though. I mean, well, I was gonna say all Joshua trees look alike. They don't all look alike. They're all unique, but golly, that'd be tough to spot that out there. Do you have any clues for anyone watching?
Well, 60-mile radius.
Okay.
That's a clue.
That's a clue, yeah. Any other, you want to give any bonus clues? I mean, how long has it been since you hit it?
Years and years. I'd say about 7 years the world has known about this challenge.
And no one has found it in 7 years.
I'm not worried at all.
Oh, okay. You don't look like a kind of guy who worries.
Oh, good. Thanks.
Yeah.
The selection of that particular tree for the model for this one was took me a while. I wanted one that was, quote, just right.
Yeah, it looks like you got the one that... And you said the reason you did a Joshua tree is every drunk cowboy will do a saguaro cactus out of horseshoes, but no one had done a Joshua tree.
Yeah.
You had to put your own spin on it.
I guess I did.
I'll say you did.
I enjoy drunk cowboys on occasion anyway.
Yeah, who doesn't? I bet you are a drunk cowboy on occasion.
No, I don't drink.
Oh dear. Okay, so if he's not a drunk cowboy, then why did Skip decide to make a Joshua tree out of horseshoes? Well, according to him, a piece of metal gets recycled again and again and again until finally it loses enough of its intrinsic quality that it gets melted down to make either rebar or horseshoes. And that's why he likes making art out of both. Oh.
They're both what I would call metal on its last gasp.
Oh.
So I like to use horseshoes and give it a new life. These horseshoes are all yelling, "Thank you very much."
Boy, they sure are. They got a whole extra bonus life.
There you go. That's why I do this.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that about horseshoes and rebar being on their last gasp.
Well, now you know.
Now I feel like a certain affinity for them because I sometimes feel like I'm on my last gasp.
No, you're much too young, but
Oh, thank you.
Same with me. I'll be 80 soon.
Golly, look at you, fit as a fiddle.
I know, I work. I'm a welder.
You
I
stay
crawl under
busy.
Trucks, stay busy, and take vitamin supplements.
Oh yeah.
And don't drink.
Yeah, well.
Don't smoke.
Mm-hmm.
All that good stuff.
And you get a lot. It seems like you get fresh air. You're out in the desert.
This is a pretty healthy place, except in the middle of winter, if you want to be running around in the sun.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But we just had a little storm blow through. I think we've seen the last of it.
That's beautiful.
And that's great.
Yeah, well.
My friend, I'm going to keep driving. I have other pictures to take.
Okay, listen.
It's been a pleasure meeting up with you.
Thank you, Skip. Everybody thanks you for your sharing your knowledge and that awesome treasure hunt. So we'll be in touch.
This is the Serendipity happenstance the cosmos has set up, not just for Sarah and me, but for you.
Yeah.
Take advantage of what you've learned. And nice to be an image that you've seen today.
Yeah, my name is Sarah. I didn't tell you my last name is Dippity. Sarah, and my middle initial is in. Sarah and Dippity.
Well, that works.
Ah, thank you. Well, there he goes. How cool was that we happened to be here right when the artist had come to take a photo. And he wasn't kidding about serendipity. I mean, he came out here to shoot this thing with that dramatic, gloomy sky behind it. And look at that. Just like he said, the storm blew away. Happy days are here again. The skies above are clear again. Which is kind of a bummer because I was just getting into my feeling gloomy. And guess what? It still is gloomy over on this side. In fact, Skip just told me that that's not all just monsoonal moisture, that's also wildfire smoke. I guess there's a huge fire burning in the Sierra Nevada mountains back that way, so that's kind of a blend. Whatever it is, it still has that really cool, moody, gloomy, atmospheric look that I love so much. He also told me there's a couple who lives way up that canyon, and this is their property that he built this. Well, he built this Joshua tree, and then there's also, well, there's an old water tank and a real old mining cabin, and I think this sign here kind of explains what it is. Let's see what it says. Mill site, Blue Max mine. It was a scheelite, which is tungsten mine, from 1963 to 1985. Wow, isn't that cool? And I guess the couple who ran it still live way up in that canyon to this day. So I suppose this might have been their water tank, and maybe this was the little cabin they lived in. Look at that, there's an electrical panel. I guess this little cabin must have been wired for electricity. I'm sure it's locked up. And I wouldn't want to bust my way in after as friendly as these folks have been, but there is a hole in the window. I don't know, I just want nope, can't see a darn thing. I guess that'll have to remain a mystery, but I'm okay with one mystery because so much else here was cleared up for us because Skip happened to be here. Wow, I absolutely love running into these characters in the desert. I love roaming around the desert, and I love this gloomy sky. And the good news is, it's gloomy in the direction I'm going. Woohoo! Let the desert storm drop all its raindrops on me. Life, I love you, all is gloomy.